Hello everybody and welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler and this is Tribal Constructs. Now, I know that sounds a little silly and I mean to be honest it is, but you know what? This deck did 5-0 a League on Magic Online and we are all about constructs because I know you've seen Steel Overseer and Arcbound Ravager and you've probably even seen Hangarback and Walking Ballista in a lot of decks, but you know what? They're all constructs. I mean, I guess technically Ravager is a beast, but it still works out the same here. A bunch of constructs, a bunch of modular counters, and we're going all in on the counters. This deck is pretty great at that. So let's walk through it here. Starts off at the bottom of the deck, the card that basically makes the deck, Hardened Scales. If one or more counters, or 1/1 counters, we put on a creature you control, put that many +1 instead. So, all right, that's where we're going to start. So now we know we want to go in on counters. That's where you see Arcbound Walker. It's just a 1/1 for 1, but that 1/1 comes from a counter. Arcbound Ravager, the king of all counters. We all know about Ravager and Affinity and so on. Steel Overseer, same thing. Counters on everything and a construct. Hangarback Walker. Now we have some payoffs for those counters. You sacrifice this, make a bunch of flyers, and you know what? You can put a lot of counters on this thing. And, of course, everyone's favorite XX win condition these days, Walking Ballista. Definitely the best thing to dump counters on you've seen. So, with that base, right, we're a green deck. We're playing Hardened Scales, and we're going in on these counters. So, how do we round that out? Well, of course, Mox Opal, as you'd expect in a deck like this, and Welding Jar, more 0-drop artifacts, make your hands more explosive, but also protect your creatures. We don't necessarily have that many creatures, and they're all, for the most part, pretty high impact, except for the workers, but Welding Jar gives you the fast starts and keeps your team alive. Abrupt Decay for removal, Thoughtseize and Inquisition for discard, just so, you know, we may as well branch into a second color, there's no reason not to. But I love this. Evolutionary Leap. Sacrifice a creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you hit a creature. Put it in your hand. You know what? Sack a worker, go get something more like sack a Hangarback Walker whenever you need to. Get all those flyers, cash them in. But what we also have to round this deck out is Animation Module. Kaladesh card getting in here. 1 mana. Whenever one or more counters we place on a permanent you control, you can pay 1. If you do, get a 1/1 servo. 3 and tap. Get another counter on a permanent or player for what it's worth. So that's the deck. We're going to go all in on these counters. This deck 5-0 to League, so it's got to have something going for it here. We're going to have some really big Walking Ballistas by the end of it. That is the plan. Now onto the mana base. Green-black, as you would expect. We get the Darksteel Citadels, we get Cavern of Souls, naming construct, of course. And we have Inkmoth Nexus even, because I'm sure killing people with poison is a real thing we're going to do. All right, so on to the sideboard here. Again, just sort of what you'd expect, although we do have the Damping Sphere in here. The hit from Dominaria, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a staple of modern sideboards moving forward. At least it will be for mine. You want this against Tron, you want this against Storm, Ad Nauseam, a bunch of different combo decks. Damping Sphere is going to be so good. Then, of course, we rounded out Brutalities for burn and so on. Maelstrom Pulse and Abrupt Decay for a little bit extra removal. Heck, even Spellskite making an appearance to protect the team. Shaper Sanctuary, so you can just try to grind out advantage against the slower decks. Grafdigger's Cage for the Collected Company decks and whatever else is good, you know, graveyard decks and so on. And the Pithy Needles, we need to deal with some problematic permanents. And, I love this one, Heroic Intervention. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Not creatures, permanents. This card is great. It's an awesome sideboard card. And this deck is going to be a lot of fun. That I'm sure of. So here we go, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler. And here we go with Tribal Constructs. Let's play some Hardened Scales.